Howdy friends, my name is Abby. This is Type 9 Studio, where I help you start and grow your Etsy shop into a small business. I've been a full-time seller on Etsy for 2 years. I asked you guys on Instagram and in the YouTube community tab if you had any questions for me. I'm going to try to do this every maybe 2 months. I feel like every month is too much, so maybe every 2 months I'll do a Q&A. Because I really like when you guys ask questions. That really helps me to know like what you need, because the videos that I plan and kind of think that would be helpful don't do as well as the ones that come directly from you asking questions of things that are relevant to you like right now. So I really like using these, and I might turn some of these into their own videos eventually. If I didn't get to your question, I may not have seen it in time, so I'm sorry if I missed it, but if I see it after this, I will include it in the next Q&A. So I'm distracted of my leggings have a hole in them. And today is also the first day of a new ADHD medication for me, so thanks insurance for not approving my old one that was working perfectly fine. But it's great. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Speaking of ADHD, I am also planning a video entirely about having ADHD and autism as a self-employed business owner, whatever you want to call it. So if you have questions about that specifically, that may be like the next Q&A video, so leave those in the comments of this video, and I'll also ask again on Instagram closer to time when I'm actually going to film it. And I also have a big cup of coffee because, you know, can't get enough stimulant. So I'm going to put the text of the question on the screen, but I'm going to blur out or like crop out the username so that way it's totally anonymous, because I feel like some of you guys are afraid to ask questions. So if I ever do a Q&A, feel free to email me. It's abby@type9studio.com. You can email me and then be totally anonymous, or just like DM me on Instagram. Because a lot of you, I've noticed you use your shop's like social media handle to like follow me and stuff, and you might not like want to ask like silly questions with your shop's handle, you know what I mean? Because that's how I feel. Like I wouldn't do that on my shop's account. I would do it on my personal account. So just know that I will include your username, but if you don't want to comment it publicly, feel free to email me or DM me. So question number 1, getting back on track, okay? How do you know when your keywords are really working? I see some of my listings get more views and the others are 0, so it has to be obvious, but still I am a little bit confused. At the beginning, some of my listings had the highest views and now they have 0. I don't know why. This is a great question, and I do kind of sort of know the answer. If you've had a lot of views and then suddenly it drops off, especially if you didn't get many sales from those views, then Etsy is going to think that's not a great listing and they're going to stop promoting it and maybe promote somebody else's listings instead. So there must be something that's stopping you from converting those views into sales. You can have the best perfect keywords, but that's only the first part of the equation. The customer has to want to purchase it after clicking on it for that listing to keep getting traction. There's a lot of things that could cause a low conversion rate, which is what that would be called. There could be maybe people don't like your shipping times, maybe they're too long, maybe the shipping cost is too high, especially if you're like an international seller, which unfortunately you can't do anything about. And could be because maybe you don't have good like enough photos, or the photos don't show what the customer wants to see about the product, or maybe the description doesn't have enough detail. I mean, people are confused about how to order, like if it's a custom thing. They don't really understand how the process works of requesting that to be custom from you. Just a number of things, and it's not all inclusive. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of those things apply to your listing. So I have 2 dedicated videos that relate specifically to this question. There is one about how to get views and another one about how to get sales from views on Etsy. So views first thing, and then converting them into sales is the second thing. So I'll have those videos linked in the description, as well as anything else that is relevant to any of the questions that I answer. Etsy is kind of a snowball effect, and they want to promote shops and listings that they have proven to be successful. So if you just recently made a sale, that signals to Etsy that that's a good listing and somebody wants to buy it, so maybe somebody else is going to want to buy it, so they will promote that higher in the search results, and then you're more likely to get a sale immediately after that. So if you started off with some listings that got a lot of views at first and maybe you didn't make any sales, then that's kind of like the opposite effect. Like the snowball is going to melt and it's going to not, get any bigger. So you want to do everything you can to make those into good listings. So having very detailed photos, using all 10 if you can, and the video, and having a detailed description, having instructions about how to order in the description. That has helped my shop a lot, having like step 1, 2, and 3. because some people have come onto Etsy and they have never used it before, so they don't know exactly how it works. So if you just do like a step 1, 2, 3, especially if your item is like customizable or personalizable in any way. Now the part of this question where you may have some products that just don't really get any views ever. That could be an issue with keywords, or maybe it just never got any traction in the first place when you first posted it. I have had this happen quite a lot, so I will even copy and paste my exact same keywords into a new listing. So like for example, I sell scrunchies in my shop. There's some right next to me I'm looking at, that's why I thought of that. But some of my scrunchies took off and like made sales in the first day or two, and then there are a few scrunchies in my shop that I've had for months and months and months that have had 0 sales. That's just kind of how it is sometimes. Like your own products can kind of overshadow your other ones. So if you're good listings, don't touch those. If they get some decent sales, you know, don't touch them at all. But if you have products that have absolutely 0 sales after like 3.5 months when that renewal period's about to come up, then you can try changing the SEO just a little bit, maybe changing around the pictures some, or taking like a little bit different pictures, like change the front one to maybe catch somebody's attention on, you know, when they're searching for it. Then do that, and then when it renews, kind of see how it goes from there. And then if you still don't have any after like a year or a few more renewal cycles, you don't want to keep paying that 20 cents if it's not going to be a good listing. So what you can do at that point is if you can scrap the product and just not sell it. Or what I have done a few times that has worked, it's a bit tricky. It's allowed because it's a totally new listing. You just have to delete the old one. So what you'll do is, say you have this one particular listing, no sales whatsoever, it has renewed a few times and you don't want to renew it again. Copy that listing, save it to your drafts, go back and then delete the original one, so that way you don't have a duplicate, because Etsy frowns upon like exact duplicate listings. You'll make a copy and then republish the old listing as a new one. Then at that point you may want to change up the SEO a little bit, maybe add some new photos or something. And a couple times that I've done that, it has worked and I've gotten a sale on it like right away. Like I had some, before I knew about this, I had some listings that went like 6 renewals without selling. That's not good. Well, you don't want to let it go that long, but like after 2 or 3, maybe try that. Or if you don't touch it, you might get lucky and make a bunch of sales out of nowhere. I had a lot of listings that happened to out of nowhere. So I had some Christmas products that I had in my shop for years and years, like maybe 3 years. They didn't really sell, like maybe I sold 1 or 2 here and there. Then all of a sudden, I think last year or the year before, no, like 2020 around Christmas, all of a sudden they just took off out of nowhere. So I wouldn't discount those low selling products right away because they might just take off, because sometimes if somebody comes to your shop from a popular listing, they may just happen upon like an add something else to their cart and to get the free shipping or whatever, or maybe they'll come from one of the popular listings and then go to your shop and then find the less popular one and buy that instead. So not every listing has to be great, but if it's not doing well after a long time, then feel free to try something new. So next question, at some point during the process of starting your business, did you ever doubt yourself or felt like you were in way over your head? There are some days it stresses me out, and I was wondering if others felt the same. Like, is it a sign you shouldn't, or does everyone go through it? If anybody who has ever started a business tries to say that they haven't felt this way, they're dirty liars. Starting a business is freaking hard. There's so much to learn. There's so many things that you don't even know that you need to learn, so much to juggle, especially if you have like a regular job and kids, you know, house to take care of. It's like having 15 jobs all at once, and you have to learn how to do them all at once. You have to learn how to make the stuff you sell, you have to do product photography, learning how to use Etsy or set up your own website, managing finances, doing taxes, customer service, shipping orders, social media, other kinds of marketing, making new products. Then wait, maybe Etsy's gonna change something, or maybe something with the tax rules changes and oh, now the shipping rates are increasing, so you have to do something about that. When I started my current business, or well, when I started taking it more seriously, I kind of got thrown to the wolves and I didn't really have time to sit and wonder if I was in over my head, because I knew I was. I made a lot of mistakes when I started, and I often wonder where my business would be now if I hadn't made those mistakes. Because right now I am coming out of that crazy busy time and I'm kind of feeling like I'm starting over with some things. Like I'm kind of having to like regroup and reevaluate and start looking at new products and different things to do, like to pivot, because some of you know my story. I started my shop and then I got into making masks, and then, you know, you probably guess how that went. And now masks are just kind of done almost. Like I have I don't even know how to do the math for this, like how many percent less. Like I went from selling hundreds a week to maybe a few, like a handful. So I need to pivot ASAP. But I have a different type of mask that I'm working on, so maybe I can still make it work. I don't know what I just said. I hope that's not something in sign language. Oh my God, this medicine is... Then now I am in the very beginning stages of starting a second business. And even with the knowledge and experience that I have with my first one that I'm trying to pass on to you guys, it still feels like I'm in over my head with that one, even more so because I am, like, I know what I don't know now. Like, I know most things that I don't know. Like, I know what I need to learn, basically is a better way to say that. I know what I need to learn. But I have higher expectations and higher standards for myself, because I didn't really have any expectations when I first started my shop, because it was just kind of a hobby for a while. And just to be like quite blunt, starting a business is not for everyone. Like a lot of people are going to say, I want to start this business, I want to start that business, but how many people actually do it? Not many. So the fact that you're actually starting it, or maybe you already have started it, then that's a sign that you should keep going, keep doing it. So just keep learning and trying new things, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because that is the best way to learn, is from making mistakes, which you are going to do, I promise. And keeping with the swimming analogy, you're not going to learn how to swim if you're standing in the kiddie pool with floaties on, okay? You gotta just jump into the deep end and swim. If you're in over your head, you're gonna have no choice but to swim, so that's the best way to learn. I feel like I'm going to call some of you out on this, but if you are waiting to start your business until you have all the information you need and you know everything and you plan for scenarios A to Z, you're never going to actually start it, because you're never going to know everything you need to know in order to do it. You just have to learn on the fly. So if you've been watching my videos to learn how to open an Etsy shop, then this is your sign. I'm telling you, like you. This is your sign. You've studied enough. Just go for it. All right, next question. How and when do consistent daily sales happen, and what do you do if there's been a sudden halt in orders, several days no orders going from daily sales? Is it the Etsy algorithm doing its thing again, or something else? So many ups and downs. I just want consistency already. Me too. But seriously though, if you're talking about like the last week or two you've had a sudden drop off, there's something going on, because it's happened to me too. The video that I missed on Saturday was basically an answer to this question, and the lighting was so bad I decided to scrap it. So I might refilm that at some point. So just to answer the question specifically though, like I have heard a lot of different things when it comes to exactly when you will get to that one sale a day mark. So if you listen to other Etsy gurus, you're going to get a lot of different answers as far as how and when you should get one sale a day. I feel like that's most people's goal. Like a starting goal is to get one sale a day, which one sale a day is actually not enough to make a full-time income unless your products have like an extremely high profit margin and an extremely high price point. That's a good goal to start with, is one sale a day. I've heard some people say that if you have 100 listings, you should have one sale a day, or like they'll say for every 100 listings should be one sale a day, which not exactly true. So like they would be saying if you have 200 listings, you make 2 sales a day. If you have 300, you make 3 sales a day, so on and so forth. Not exactly true. Well, for everyone. I mean, for somebody, probably, but not for everybody. Then some people get there in a few months, some people get there in a few years, some people never get there. It just depends on like how good your listings are, how much demand there is for them, just a lot of things. And then certain times of the year are better than others. Most shops are gonna see a pretty big dip in the third quarter, which is around like July to September, when people are waiting for the holidays, and also maybe like it's the summer and they're out vacationing or doing summer activities or whatever. Then most people's highest sales are going to be in the fourth quarter, like October, November, December for Christmas, Black Friday, you know, all that stuff. But that also depends on your niche, because if you have like back to school stuff, your sales are probably going to be highest in like July to August, you know, just things like that. And then if your items are giftable, like jewelry or anything that's can be personalized, then you're going to have the highest sales around the gifting holidays. So if you're in this kind of category, then you probably have low sales right now because Valentine's Day just ended like a week ago. So you might not have an uptick in sales until like around Mother's Day or whenever the next gifting holiday is. And another thing to consider as to why sales are down like across the board is just the state of the world. So there are still a lot of layoffs happening. There's a lot of supply chain issues going on. People are getting sick because online sales absolutely exploded. Like exploded isn't even the right word to describe what happened to e-commerce in 2020 because physical stores were shutting down and people had to buy everything online pretty much. Like remember some stores would even, like if it was a supermarket or something or like a Walmart kind of place, some places had them shut down the non-essential parts of the store. So you could go into Walmart and buy groceries, but you couldn't go buy clothes or toys or anything. Like, Then in 2021, online sales kind of went back down a little bit because the restrictions were being lifted and people were eager to get out and shop in person. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen this year in 2022, although curious might not be the right word. I'm also kind of scared. My biggest advice, if you want to see more consistent sales, like I can't promise this is like a perfect solution, but this is my best advice for you to try, is to be consistent with what you're putting into it. So you've got to be making new listings regularly, getting rid of old listings, you know, seeing what works and what doesn't, freshening up your photos and SEO on the older listings, shipping your existing orders as quickly as possible. That's all going to contribute to the consistency of your sales and just help build up your shop in general. I definitely notice a dip in my sales and views and everything if I just stop engaging with my shop for a little while. Maybe I take a few days off. Well, in like a weekend, not that big of a deal, but if I go like a week without touching anything, it pretty much dies. Not totally, but it goes down. Etsy is very needy. They want you to spend a lot of time with them. So being consistent, doing something on there like every day if you can is going to go a long way. And then one thing I would suggest, if you're finding yourself constantly worrying about not having enough sales, don't look every day. Like I know I just contradicted myself. I said like do stuff on Etsy every day, but also don't. So like don't look at your stats on a day by day basis because that is like too short of a time. It is always going to be inconsistent day to day. You might get 0 sales today, but you also might get 5 tomorrow. So it just depends. Like, don't say today's a failure if you get 5 tomorrow, because maybe people were looking at your shop today, but they didn't buy anything, and then they come back tomorrow, buy. So you can't look at it day by day. Just look at it like month by month. Because when most people like Etsy gurus, people that talk about it, say the 1 sale a day, it doesn't mean. Like 1 sale a day doesn't mean you never go a single day without getting a sale. It just means that like you average 30 orders a month. And as far as like finances go with trying to get that to be consistent, I do have a strategy to kind of mitigate that. This video is going to be really long and it might take a little while to explain. So if you want to see that, let me know about how I budget manage the finances to account for the inconsistency, then let me know. Next question, what to do when you had a slow month as a new shop in order to try to get sales going the next month? So the simple answer to this is to keep adding new listings. Although it's not so simple if you think about it. If you have a new shop, you probably started with all of your products straight away, which is not what I would suggest for a new shop, but if you did that, don't worry. So when you have a new shop and you make a bunch of listings like up front, what happens then is that Etsy temporarily boosts new shops and also new listings because they don't really know much about you or this listing yet. They want the algorithm, the computer thing wants to see how people respond to this listing, if they're going to want to buy it, if it's good. So they will temporarily boost it a little bit to help speed this along, see how it goes, and then if people don't respond to it or they don't click on it, they don't buy it, then it's going to get knocked down. So once that initial boost is over, then it's going to be hard for you to get any momentum if you just leave it at your initial 10, 20, however many listings you started with. So the key for you, if you're in this situation, is going to be to add new listings regularly, because each new listing gives you a little bit of a boost, and the more traffic that those new listings bring, they can bring more traffic back to the shop as a whole to come back to your original listings that aren't new. So one a day is going to be ideal if you want to see like rapid growth, but if you can't do that, I understand it takes a lot of money to make new listings, and even like not just the 20-cent listing fee obviously, but the you know, the cost to make products and the time and everything. So if you can do like one a week, that is great. And then by putting more items out there, there's more chances that somebody is going to find you in the search, just based on probability. I know I've explained this concept several times, but so if you have you know, a handful of things, like 5 of the similar item, like coffee mugs for example, if you have 5 coffee mugs, and there's probably millions of coffee mugs on Etsy, if you only have 5, you're not really going to stand out. There's, you know, you're just going to get lost in the sea of other coffee mugs. But if you have like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, a lot more, then there's more chances that people are going to find yours in the million or so others. And sometimes it is hard to come up with new listings, or like to have so many, like you can only make so many kinds of, you know, whatever thing you sell. So if you can do like bundles or gift sets or something, if it makes sense for what you have, then I would try that. The next one, more in-depth details regarding your Etsy critiques, please. I swear someone actually asked this. I didn't just plug it in here. I know some people, like, I didn't know this, and then I saw somebody on their Instagram story, or like it was a reel or like a TikTok or something. People were like, how do you get more engagement on your Instagram stories? And then they were like, oh, just answer your own Q&A thing. I was like, you can do that. But I swear I did not do this. Somebody actually asked me this. So I do offer Etsy shop reviews or critiques, whatever you want to call them, on my Ko-Fi page. So when you purchase one on the Ko-Fi page, it's going to take you to a Google form where it's going to ask you for information like your shop link, your email address, your goals, and like experience, or how much you've done so far with your Etsy shop. Then I'll take a look at your shop and just a few random listings. So I don't click on every single listing because it's going to inflate your views, and it just takes a lot of time to look at all of your listings. So I usually pick 4 or 5. Then from there I have a PDF template. I'll kind of put that here so you can see what's in it. I'll fill that out about your shop as a whole, about the SEO, your photos, just a lot of small details. And then I'll give you some tips to improve, as well as let you know things that I think you did really well. Then once I'm done filling out that PDF, I'll just send you a copy of it in your email. That way you can reference it at any time. You don't have to like sit through a video, and it's just a lot easier for both of us to go through the PDF, and then you can ask me specific questions if you have any issues once I email that to you. Currently, a shop review costs $55, and the link is always in the description of my videos, or you can go to ko-fi.com/type9studios/shop. I used to have like 3 different tiers of the shop reviews, and that got kind of confusing and difficult for me, so I just kind of made it all one. There's just only one shop review, and it's like kind of the same for everyone and the same format. But even though it's the same format and the same like scoring criteria, I guess I don't really give a score, but it's just like the same questions or the same topics I go over for everybody. It's very personalized to your specific shop. Like I will give you specific examples if there's something that I see that could be improved. So like if there's something wrong with your photos, I will say, hey, this, you know, X, Y, and Z. Maybe sometimes I'll even like include a screenshot of something if I'm trying to explain like something you could fix. And that is totally different from the buy me a coffee thing on Ko-Fi. So that buy me a coffee is only for like a donation or a tip. That does not mean that you get anything in return. So if you want to support the channel and, you know, appreciate what I'm doing on YouTube, then that's a good place to do it. I do ask on the Google form if you would give me permission to use your shop review in a future video. I've done 1 shop review in a video so far, and that was with my old style of having like the 3 different tiers. Not many people have said yes, which is understandable. I promise I'm not going to roast you. The people that have said yes, it was a few months ago, so the review would no longer be valid. Like, I'm sure they have made adjustments since then. So if you buy one after this and you want me to use it in a video, I would appreciate it. But totally up to you. You don't have to at all whatsoever. Like you're not going to be forced to. So only say yes if you are completely okay with it. With that being said, I am in the process of doing more stuff off of YouTube. So I've been asking some questions to you guys in my community tab through the polls, like if you'd prefer courses or membership things, or like what kind of courses. So if you have any insight on that, or you want to go vote in the poll, please do. I would love to hear what you think. When I started this channel, I think on my first video I posted, I said I didn't want to do a course, but now I'm seeing why people do them, because they actually can be beneficial. Like, there are some things that I haven't like told on YouTube or like Instagram or TikTok when I used it, stuff like that. But also, like, courses would be just a central location, like condensed information, instead of, you know, the first stuff I have to do for YouTube, like please subscribe and, you know, no ads or anything. I've also considered doing like a membership thing where you have like more direct access to ask me questions and maybe talk to each other, and through like a private Facebook group or a Discord or something. Then perhaps live videos, like live Q&As or something, but I would really only want to do those on a membership platform, or like if I had the YouTube membership thing, which I don't even know if I have access to that yet because I am not in the partner program yet. I'm very close though. So a couple questions I have for you. This is not the last question of the Q&A, but would you rather do a course or a membership type deal, or perhaps both? I also consider doing regular coaching. I started thinking about doing it monthly, but I was like, a month is not really that much time, so maybe quarterly, like coaching program, and then you would have to have purchased a shop review first, because I had to be pretty selective if I did a coaching program, because I only have so much time to do it, so I couldn't take on like a whole bunch of people at once. Or maybe I could do membership with different tiers, so like if you wanted to do the more coaching thing, then you can purchase a higher tier of the membership. I don't know, let me know your thoughts, because I don't really know anybody else. Like, other Etsy people that I follow, kind of either they only do YouTube or they do like just a course and that's it. So would you like to do a membership or a course, both, something else entirely? Let me know. All right, last question. When you get an order, especially one that needs to be made, do you message the customer, keeping them up to date on the order? Thanks for all your help and congratulations on your wedding. Thank you. So I actually don't get too many questions about like handling orders, so this is interesting. So the short answer to this is no. As a customer, I kind of find this irritating and a bit unnecessary. And then it also, like, as a seller, it takes up a lot of your time as well, especially if you start getting multiple orders a day. How much time do you want to spend messaging people individually? And Etsy already emails the customer and notifies them on the app if they order on the app, when they place the order, when it ships, when it's delivered, and then again a few days after that to ask them for a review. And then sometimes if they don't leave a review, then it's going to notify them again to ask for a review. Then if the customer is also a seller themselves, that they have to respond to you because that is part of the star seller thing, and it doesn't differentiate between messages you get as a buyer and as a seller, which is kind of annoying. This is my opinion, but I think it's best for everyone if you only message if like there's going to be a delay, or if you have an issue with the order, or like if you ran out of stock, or if like your machine stopped working or something and you can't fill it right away, or if you need clarification on their order or something like that. I'm glad you guys actually asked me some questions, because a couple times I've tried to do Q&As and like nobody really asked me anything, so I was like, hopefully I get some to like make a decent video. And this video ended up being pretty long. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 30 minutes after I edit it, so we'll see how long it actually is. So if you want to get your own Etsy shop review, then the link is in my description to my Ko-Fi. If you like these videos, if you watch my videos regularly, then don't forget to subscribe, because most of you guys are not subscribed to me. Although I think most of you that are subscribed have notifications on. YouTube does tell me that, so thank you for doing that. That's really the only way to make sure you know when I post a new video is to turn the notifications on. Sometimes it will tell you, sometimes it may not. But I've also found that if you regularly like or comment on my videos, watch them all the way through, then YouTube is more likely to promote them to you, like in your home page. So maybe try that if it's not showing you in your subscription feed. That's all for me today. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.